Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Today I will take you back in the history at the time when Quaid Azam, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and Allama, Sir Allama Muhammad Iqbal, they joined Lincoln's Inn in London. This was the very path or the route where these two great leaders stepped to join the law college or law society called Lincoln Inn. We can see that from 1899 to 1905, Allama Muhammad Iqbal was a great proponent of Indian nationalism. During these years, his poems Tarana Hindi, the Indian anthem, became very famous, wherein he says, our Hindustan is better than entire world. It is our garden and we are its nightingales. Iqbal's Urdu poetry from 1906, and especially poems such as the New Temple and the Indian Anthem, bear ample testimony to the fact that during his student days, Iqbal was adherent of concept of composite Indian nationalism. In the following verses, he appears to be an extremely patriotic and a nationalist. O Brahman, if you don't mind, I shall tell you the truth of the idols of your worship have gone obsolete. You think that God is there in the stone idols? To me, every particle of my homeland is an idol for me. Then Allama Muhammad Iqbal came here in this area, and later on he went to Germany as well, to pursue higher education, and stayed here from 1905 to 1908. He directly observed, experienced the Western civilization, and declared that he admits that due to the challenge of Western culture, he came to know the reality of his own faith. When he returned from Western world, he was a changed person altogether. He very categorically states that there is no doubt that my idea about nationalism have undergone a definite change. In my college days, I was a zealous nationalist that I am not now. The change is due to a mature thinking. It is unfortunate that my later writings are all in Pakistan, which is little understood in this country. Allama Iqbal returned from Europe with renewed ideas and changed perceptions. Next 20 years, he totally devoted himself to the cause of Islam in Pakistan. In his poem, The Territorial Nationalism, Iqbal rejects the prevalent concept of territorial nationalism. He considers this concept as a modern form of idolatry and hence incompatible with Islam. He says, this era has a different cup, a different wine, and another jamshed. The Saki has adopted new ways to charm the drinkers. Western civilization has fashioned new idols, and the Muslims have created a new haram, where these new idols are being worshipped. Country is the supreme among all the contemporary idols. Its clock is the shroud of religion. The idol of country, as fashioned by the contemporary civilization, destroys the home of Prophet of Islam. Your arm obtains strength from the power of Tawheed. Islam is your home, and you are the followers of Prophet. Show to the world a glimpse of the old days, O followers of Mustafa, the Prophet of Islam. Crush this idol in the dust. If one were bound with a place, the result will be utter destruction. You should live like a fish in the ocean, independent of country. In the 18th century, a new concept were introduced in Europe. The nation-state concept developed. According to this concept, people living in a particular state are a nation irrespective of their faith or religion. And this concept gave birth to secularism, a philosophy which declared a religion outside the purview of a state. According to religion, accordingly, a religion has to be confined to private life only. Iqbal rejects these concepts and comes up with his idea of state, which is in conformity with Islamic ideology. For the Muslims of a subcontinent who was struggling to get rid of British imperialism, he gave the idea of two-nation theory. In his historic presidential address delivered at the annual session of All India Muslim League at Allahabad on 29 December 1930, he rejected the Western concept of a composite Indian nationalism in an unapologetic manner. He argued with full emphasis on his command that the religious ideal of Islam is organically related to the social order which it has created. The rejection of the one will eventually involve the rejection of the other. Therefore, the construction of a polity on national lines, if it means a displacement of the Islamic principle of solidarity, is simple, unthinkable to a Muslim. I would like to see the Punjab, Northwest Frontier Province, Sindh, and the Balochistan amalgamated into a single state. A self-government within the British Empire appears to me the final destiny of Muslims, at least of Northwest India. I therefore demand the formation of a consolidated Muslim state in the best interest of India and Islam. I must say the idea of two nations and the concept of Pakistan was created here in Lincoln's Inn. This is the area where Quaid Azam and Allama Iqbal studied, strolled, walked, and got their higher education. When Quaid Azam returned from London and initiated the task of organization of all India Muslim League, Iqbal extended his total support to Jinnah and worked as his loyal soldier. This was the time of closest political cooperation between these two great leaders of Muslim India. These new ideas concerning the destiny of Muslim India in particular and Muslim world in general, which had stirred the mind of young Iqbal way back in the year 1907, continued to grow over the years and finally culminated into clear-cut ideology in 1938. Notwithstanding the advocacy of Indian nationalism on the basis of Islam by the leading ulama, the overwhelming majority of Indian Muslims adopted the path of a separate Muslim nationalism as the only way leading to their salvation. These are the Lincoln's Inn Fields, right opposite the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn, where Quaid Azam and Allama Iqbal must have strolled, studied, walked around here, and get the new ideas, which eventually led to the creation of Pakistan. Sir Allama Iqbal invoked Islamic concept of state, which moved the masses. They rallied around the flag of All India Muslim League. Muslim League turned popular party instead of elite class group. The response of masses at grassroots was so effective that very soon it was realized by both Hindus and British that division of India was inevitable. The Muslims started their struggle with the single aim to establish an independent homeland wherein they will be able to order their lives in accordance with the dictates of Islam. The most popular slogan which united majority of Muslims was, "What is the meaning of Pakistan?" It means to establish the sovereignty of God in this world. Quaid Azam also studied here. He passed his barrister exam in here. He was basically a statesman and a staunch Indian nationalist and an advocate of united India for many years. At the very beginning of his career even when he was practicing law full time, he strongly associated himself with the All India National Congress Party and quickly became one of his brightest young stars. He was not religious in popular sense. He had a secular bent of mind. That is why his mentor were non-Muslim liberal politicians such as Hindu Gopal Krishna Gokhale and Parish Dadabai Naroji. Living though he was in British India, in which the social and intellectual divisions between Hindu and Muslims were manifest, Jinnah believed that the India's freedom would only be possible if the two communities worked together as equal. This is the building of a Lingazin where two great leaders, likes of Quaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah and Allama Muhammad Iqbal studied, and this is the area where Allama Muhammad Iqbal changed his views about secularism to Muslim unity. But Quaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, until 1936, had not completely given up on Indian nationalism, but he was beginning to show signs of change. He had met with Iqbal a number of times in England, and they had long been colleagues. But 1936-38 was the period in which Iqbal became Jinnah's self-attested spiritual support. We know little of ideas exchanged between them during this crucial period, except for what exists in Iqbal's letters to Jinnah and Jinnah's own comments on them. Quaid Azam later write that Iqbal had played a very conspicuous part behind the scenes in uniting Muslims in minority and majority provinces, as he also confessed Iqbal's views had finally led Jinnah to the same conclusion as Iqbal regarding the constitutional problem facing India. And they were later given expression in the United Will of Muslim India as adumbrated in Lahore Resolution. No doubt it was Iqbal's high intellectual caliber which ultimately convinced Jinnah. Iqbal's influence on Jinnah is unquestionable. From 1937 onward, Iqbal made a number of comments and suggestions in his letters that would later be expressed in Jinnah's political actions. Iqbal also wrote that he considered Jinnah the only Muslim capable of leading the Muslims through the storm of political crisis. Jinnah was thus inspired by Iqbalian thought when he said, "The ideology of League is based on fundamental principle that Muslim India is an independent nationality. We are determined, and let there be no mistake about it, to establish the status of an independent nation and an independent state in this subcontinent." Unfortunately, Allama Iqbal died in 1938 and left the flag for Muslims in the hands of Quaid Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and he already convinced him that Islam and secularism are two separate ideologies. At the death of Allama Muhammad Iqbal, Quaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah said, "I am extremely sorry to hear the sad news of the death of Sir Muhammad Iqbal. He was a remarkable poet and worldwide fame, and his work will live forever. To me, he was a friend, guide, and philosopher, and during the darkest moment through which the Muslim League had to go, he stood like a rock and never flinched one single moment. And as a result, just only 3 days ago, he must have read or been informed of the complete unity that was achieved in Calcutta of the Muslim leaders of Punjab, and totally I can say with pride that the Muslims of Punjab are wholeheartedly with the League and have come under the flag of All India Muslim League, which must have been a matter of greatest satisfaction to him. Anyway, after Allama Iqbal's death, Quaid Azam continued his struggle, which led to Lahore Resolution 1940. Eventually, Pakistan was created in August 1947 for Muslims' liberty, justice, and equality. Thanks for watching my channel. Please subscribe for my latest videos. Bye.